All right, welcome into the Play Pants Podcast, episode 9. We're going to tackle some unpopular music opinions that Buzzfeed covered, and of course, we'll bury ourselves by revealing a few of our own.
Also, Memorial Day is coming up this weekend, and we're going to talk a little bit about what it means to us, and we're going to dive into an incredibly cool top 5 military movies list.
Dudes, you got to get to the doctor. We'll tell you why, and I think we called dudes dumb at least 10 times. Check out the video version of the Play Pants Podcast on our YouTube channel. Make sure you slash and smash that subscribe button, please. Give us a follow on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Play Pants Pod.
Let's go. It's time. Put on Play Pants.
All right, welcome in, everybody. I'm Rod Ryan. He's Jason Ginty, and we are fired up for our 9th episode of Play Pants. So I only touched on this briefly on the radio show in Houston, but I thought there was a little bit more to get into, and I like the concept. I did like the concept. BuzzFeed basically just kind of stirring the shit. They went out and they published a bunch of unpopular musical opinions.
Right.
So if it's one person out there that felt this, they put it out there for the world, the universe to see. And then we kind of were looking at them going, is that person alone? Are they on an island, or can you somewhat relate to it? So I thought it was pretty interesting. And I'd like to, and that's the beauty of this podcast. You can kind of get into things a little bit more. So BuzzFeed stirring some shit. I'm going to run some of these by you, Jake, and we can discuss whether you also feel like that person. Remember, these are unpopular musical opinions. And then what I want to do, and I did give you a little task. I said, you know what? Think of some that are on your own, because I started writing some down, and man, it just started flowing. I was like, okay, I got to stop. Okay, I don't want to just, because it comes across as just, you know, you're bagging on everything.
Well, especially think of our angle. We work in the business, so we get complaints. You know, you play the same songs all the time. Yeah, so what? But yeah, go ahead, man. What do you got first? Come on, hit me. I've been excited about this all day. I can't wait to get through this.
All right. Jake works in classic rock right now. Mm-hmm. So unpopular opinion number 1, quote, I never got the hype for Stairway to Heaven being some all-time great song. It's a good song, but that's about as far as I go with it. Do you guys, that's in rotation at the classic rock station?
You know what? It's weird because that song you got to be careful with. From the classic rock standpoint, years ago, like 10, 15 years ago, I was programming classic rock back then, and you do these music tests, and the most popular songs, the ones you're going to want to play on the radio all the time. Okay.
Yes.
Make it simple. And Stairway to Heaven always used to test or do very well. So we'd play a lot more often. It hasn't tested as well over the last few years. So it doesn't get played as often as,
because new generations are coming into these music tests now.
Plus, you got to think of it this way, too, and there's a couple of classic rock songs that fit this mold. Stairway to Heaven, it's a cliche at this point, okay? Freebird, it's a cliche. It's Smoke on the Water. Those songs, they're great. Stairway to Heaven is not a good song. It's a great song. If you can, and it's tough for me because I've played that song 10 bajillion times. It's not even a word on the radio, okay? But if I don't hear it for a while, and if I can try and remove myself and go listen to it, that shit is powerful. It's amazing. It's all over the place. It builds. It's soft. It's loud. The lyrics are amazing. It's a great song.
I think it's a great song.
Still a great song. I don't need to hear it again.
Okay. I don't remember the last time I heard it, to be honest with you. I'll honestly say I haven't heard that song in over 2 years. 3 years. I don't remember the last time I heard that song. I don't know where I would have. I don't listen to a lot of classic rock radio.
Right.
I don't know the last time I heard that song. Actually, you know what? I wouldn't mind putting that on right now and jamming out to it. It was the last song. There's a great reference, the Bare Naked Ladies, and I forgot what song it is, but he talks about leaving the high school dance, and it's like, I can't leave yet because Stairway to Heaven hasn't come on yet. I don't know if that is a Western New York thing, Canadian thing, but when I was going to high school dances, the last song of the night, and Stairway to Heaven was already an old song. It was already a classic rock song by then. the last song of the night where you did the slow dance. I used to call it the Fonzie dance, which is an old reference, but you're just sitting there and you're barely moving, and you still kept moving slow during the rocked out part. You didn't bust into like a fast dance. It was the last song of the night at dances.
You couldn't bust into the fast part because by then you had such a rage and hard on, you couldn't back off from the chick. And even if you can't dance with a kickstand sticking out like that, you can't do that. You know what's funny is that "Stairway to Heaven" is such a great song. It really is, and I think it's one of those things you gotta kind of go back and revisit it once in a while.
I wouldn't mind hearing it right now. I'm not lying.
I used to get calls all the time, and this is always the worst. And you know, this is the tough part about this format is always get a phone call. Hey man, my buddy just died. Can you play "Stairway to Heaven" for me? Yeah, you see, here's the thing, dude. That's kind of a bummer on the radio to tell that story and then play that 8-minute song. You know, great song, still amazing. But
right.
Yeah, no, that's still a great song. I think they're wrong on that one.
This is from BuzzFeed. This stuff bounced around all over the place. U2 is boring.
That comment is boring. U2 is not boring at all, dude. Go listen to the first, 6 albums. See one of their concerts. You know why they say they're boring? Because Bono likes to talk. And Bono likes to save the world. He likes to do all these missions. He's got his charities, and it's awesome, and it's so freaking cool. They want him to shut up and sing. Unfortunately. They're not boring.
I like U2. I love U2. I did not love U2 when they first came out, and really super hip chicks like them, War Boy, all of that stuff. I didn't get in until I had the benefit of having an older sister. If you had an older sibling and, you know, musically, you were always advanced because you were picking up on, you know, my sister turned me on to absolutely everything. I give Sue Ryan credit for everything. She turned me on to the Tragically Hip. She turned me on to the Cult. She turned me on to everything. And she turned me on to U2. She just was hipper. She was cooler than, you know, she's 3 years was everything, you know, 3 years older.
Yeah.
The music is just so much better to someone that's 3 years older than somebody that's 10. So she was in on that. I don't find U2 boring at all. George Harrison was the best Beatle and had the best career music wise after they broke up.
That's asinine. That's just asinine. Now, I'm going to say this, and I don't want anyone to get pissed off, and don't take it the wrong way.
How could they? People never take things the wrong way.
No, never happens. And I've said this, and I don't mean it because I want other people to be dead, because dead is dead. But I've always said, can you imagine if the other 2 Beatles switched positions? If John Lennon was still alive and George Harrison was still alive? To me, those are the cool, super creative Beatles. Paul's the pop guy.
Is Paul not as cool just because he's still alive and he's been around and he's never gone away? No. He's never not been in our lives. So automatically that kind of makes him, you take him for granted, I think.
And he's amazing. I love Paul McCartney.
He might be the best songwriter of all time.
But man, you know what? I've always liked George Harrison. I always thought he was cooler. He was quiet. He did write some great songs in his solo stuff, had some cool shit. I wish he would have done more, obviously, but he was, you know, slow to get it done.
I don't know what happened to me, but I'm a late in life Beatles fan, and George Harrison is my favorite Beatle. Now, I don't think that he had the biggest career. I don't think that he was the most talented. He's my favorite guy. Dude, me and my daughter, we connect on Here Comes the Sun. Abbey Road. Dude, that song was not a single. Here Comes the Sun is one of the best songs of all time. It's a top 10 song of all time for me. Here Comes the Sun.
Right.
They didn't release it because it was George. Okay. He had to fight to get stuff on. He was the youngest one, and it was only by a couple of years. He had to fight, and it was like, no, George, you know, then he fought enough where they gave him 1 and 2 songs here and there. Here Comes the Sun is the best song on Abbey Road, and it wasn't a single. And to prove my point, when the Beatles catalog finally became digital, it's the most popular digitally downloaded Beatles song of all time.
Well, there you
Done.
go. There you go.
He's the best. So that makes him the best? I don't know. He's my favorite.
I like him too, but think about it. He's a younger guy. So when you're in the room and you got Paul McCartney and John Lennon,
I know.
and you're a songwriter, how many songs are you really going to get past them? Now, what's great about that is think of the shit he learned for songwriting ability and skills. He knew, and that's what's great about it. He knew he couldn't walk in there with a piece of shit and go, hey guys, look what I just did. He had to write Here Comes the Sun to even get it close to getting an album.
Just to get it included as a B-side on something. You're right. They made it, so they brought greatness out of him and they made him work a lot harder. So circumstances played into, how he raised his game.
Let me ask you this question. I've always wanted to know the answer to this, and I don't know drummers if they're good or bad. How come I always hear about Ringo Starr? Was he a good drummer or was he not a good drummer? I never can figure it out, and I don't play the instrument.
Okay.
Damn it. Sorry.
So he had a feel. He did some things. Technically wasn't great. Played what needed to be played. The things he did were tastefully done, but there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff. That did he really come together? Did he come up with that? Or was he told to play that? I don't have the answer for you.
It's true.
Do drummers look at that and say, boy, that really fit well? He did some very tasty things. He didn't overplay, didn't need to overplay. Those Beatles songs, the early stuff was clearly simple. It was very simple. Then it got crazy later on with the Walrus. It's cool to say that he's a great drummer. I'm not. Put me down as one of my things. I don't put Ringo down as a great drummer. I don't. I'm sorry. But I think he was a pocket player, and I think he was perfect for the Beatles.
And that's all that matters. At the end of the day, you fit the song. It's like we've talked before about guitar solos. If you're just going to go and shred and it doesn't fit the song, I'm not impressed. I don't want to hear it. Fit the song, fit the recipe. Yeah. Okay. Well, now I know. Finally, all these years, I finally know Ringo's just pretty good.
Jason, I'm sitting here in Houston, and somebody actually had the gall to put this on their website, Buzzfeed. Beyonce is overrated. I don't know how much of tune out you are on the pop scene, but the Beehive is, alive and well here in Houston.
Dude, he's amazing. That's a horse's ass that wrote that. That's a dumbass. Okay. I don't care who that is. Beyonce is not overrated. She is unreal. And I know maybe 6 of her songs total.
Okay.
And I love, first of all, she is stunning to look at. Stunning.
Okay. Beautiful.
Okay? Beautiful.
Hands down.
Cool. Badass. She's got her shit together. I got to see Beyonce. This is going to sound nuts. In concert years ago. They did the Essence Festival here in New Orleans. And I ended up there. I don't know how, but I'm there. And I'm probably 20 rows back. And Essence is like the big festival, man. It's like Prince played one year. It's like Janet Jackson. It was Beyonce. It was the year that Michael Jackson died. Beyonce, it was 2 months afterwards. She gets up there and she can dance like I've never seen before. And it's in the pocket. She's perfect the way she sounds. She's not out of breath. That's commitment to the job right there. Okay. If you're running around dancing like she does, which is incredible. She does this tribute to Michael Jackson. Okay. And she's singing her song called Halo. It's obviously about halos and angels and stuff.
Sure.
Anyway, she goes on and on through the song, and then she starts, and it looked, you never can tell if it's staged or not. If it wasn't staged, if it was staged, she pulled it off very well. She's literally the song's extending out, and they keep going through Halo. And then she's on the ground, and she's slapping her hand on the stage, hands and knees, singing this thing. And then she just starts fucking screaming and going ape shit. And this just went on. And everyone in the audience is just fucking standing there like they're looking at a car fire. And it was the most powerful thing. One of the most powerful things I've ever seen on stage. And from that moment on, I'm like, yep, she's amazing. Absolutely amazing. So yeah, overrated. Come on. I don't love her stuff. A lot of it, you know, I'll do the single ladies dance.
Overrated is a little harsh for me, but I feel like there's pressure to say everything she puts out is amazing.
No.
I feel like critics feel like they have to say how great it is. They might be afraid of her. I don't know.
It's Jay-Z. They're afraid of Jay-Z.
And I'll say this. There's only one Whitney Houston, and her name is Whitney Houston. Beyonce's no Whitney Houston.
It's different. I think they're different.
Yes.
Beyonce can dance better. She's got that whole thing put together in a different way.
Right.
Than Whitney does. Or did.
All right.
And here we are talking about Whitney Houston and Beyonce. That's funny.
Here's a comment. I'm so fucking tired of the Red Hot Chili Peppers. They play on every radio station, from classic rock to contemporary to weird alternative stations. I can't escape them. All their songs sound the same, and I've heard every one 1,000 times. I'm sick of them. Thoughts on the Chili Peppers?
First of all, again, how many times have you gotten these emails, Rod? This one I've gotten a million times. I'm a classic rock station. We play the Chili Peppers. They're not classic rock. Start looking at the dates when those albums came out. It's classic freaking rock. It is not the same song over and over again. I will give you a point on this, though. They sure as hell do work the word California into most of their songs. That is true.
Do. Did you know we're from California?
Every song. California. But outside of that, I mean, you know, if they were from a different state, we'd be getting that state in every song. Their songs aren't the same. Listen to them. They're different. They have a same feel and sound, but so does every band. I am kind of tired of hearing them, though.
I'm a little burned out. I'm a little burned out
too. And what's funny is they don't put out albums as often as you think. They go a lot of years between albums, but their stuff, obviously, to their credit, is good because it sticks.
I don't know the name of the last album, but they did tour. They did come to Houston. That's a band that plays they're not a stadium band, but they are an arena band still. So they'll play your local basketball stadium. So they played the Toyota Center here. I believe they sold it out. I went to the show and they were great. They are great live. They really are. But just, I'm giving you a heads up. We will revisit this at the end of this discussion.
I like it. I like it. Okay.
All right, just a couple more. Okay. Not all of this. Well, this is music, though, too. I don't care for Hamilton at all. I just got to get it out of the way because I feel like I'm at confession. I've never seen Hamilton. I don't know what's going on. I know this Lin-Manuel Miranda. You know how I know him? He did all the songs for Moana. Okay.
Chinese.
So that's my Lin-Manuel Miranda. I don't know Hamilton, but I don't think I'd like it. I'm not a theater guy. Sorry.
Rod, grab a juice box. Relax for a second. I got this. My wife and my son were in New York before the pandemic, and they got tickets to go see Hamilton. For a year and a half before they went and saw Hamilton, it was on in their car every day to soccer practice. They knew every song. They started playing it in the house. I'm like, what is this horse shit? And then after a couple of weeks of it being on the house, I'm like, damn, these songs are good. Not only are they well written, they're good songs. The subject matter, it's historical, but it's easy to understand. And I learned shit out of every song. So then they went and seen Hamilton, and they bought the t-shirts and they're chirping about how great it is. I'm like, fucking musical show tunes. What is this horse shit? I have no interest. And I kept being that guy. Came out on Disney Plus during the pandemic, right? And I'm like, all right, I'll watch it. And they're all, we got to watch. You got to see. You're going to freak out.
But you know all the music now because you've heard it. So you've got a good base going into watching it.
I sat down and I'm like, this is going to suck. So I got like my phone next to me. I'm ready to go. Comes out, first song, and they're singing and they're rapping and they're going through all the whole story. And I'm on it. Dude, when it was over, I fucking stood up and started clapping. I'm telling you, man, You don't have to be the theater nerd. I am not. I've been to the theater a few times. This is so great. The story is so well put together. And it's not shitty singing like the Big Show tunes. You're not watching Cats or whatever. You know what I mean? It's
Cats. Good. Okay. So I've seen a few things, not a lot.
But cool.
Cats visually is awesome. There's no fucking story. Don't tell me there's a story to Cats. There is not.
No.
The last thing I went to go see was the Book of Mormon. And it's the guys that are from South Park, and they were supposed to be, the new kids on the block. They're putting Broadway on its ear, these guys, and people are laughing in the theater, and I'm just not. It's just not my forum. Okay, right. I don't drink wine, and theater's not for me. I've tried it. Well, you haven't gone to the right one yet. You're right. I haven't. It's just not for me.
But that's okay. You tried it. You don't like it. Okay, fair enough. You don't have to. But man, I'm telling you, Hamilton it's freaking good. And I'm a rock dude, and I don't like show tunes. I don't like any of that shit. But I'm a history dork. So maybe that's why I like it. And the way they tell the story, and you're like, holy shit, this is so brilliant. It is very well done. The songs are good, and it's brilliant the way they weaved it all together. So yes, I'm sorry, Hamilton's freaking great.
All right, Jason, you're on the spot right now. Any original unpopular opinions that you may have? Because I said we would probably revisit one for sure that we've kind of already touched on.
I could literally go down a laundry list of about 90 bands and just go, this band sucks. This band sucks. This band sucks. And they're popular bands. And it's not that they suck. See, that's what, when we've talked about this before, I've brought it before. Anytime you talk about music, the band doesn't suck. Pink Floyd doesn't suck. You just might not like them. That's the difference. Okay. They can play their instruments. They can write great songs. They have success. They don't
sell 200 million albums. They can't suck. You just don't like them.
Like them. Foo Fighters, great band, do a great job, sold 1 billion albums. You might just not happen to like them. I fucking hate Journey. I hate Journey. It's an unpopular opinion. I would rather have a monkey scratch my eardrums with his dick than listen to another goddamn Journey song. And you know what? I play Journey every day on the radio. Boom, fired. I hate them. I fucking hate their songs. I got nothing. They don't do it for me, man. And I know. Play them at every wedding. It's cool.
When I was young, I didn't even know a dude that liked Journey. And this is when I'm really young now. Okay. Right. I started going in the direction of Iron Maiden and Judas Priest.
Correct.
There was a fork in the road, and you picked a side, and you went with REO Speedwagon and Journey, or you went with Iron Maiden and Judas Priest. That's kind of where it split in my hometown.
Yep.
I didn't know a dude that liked Journey when I was growing up. Now I get it. I have a friend that's his favorite flipping band, and it's like he loses his mind, and he loves the new singer. He loves everything. It's weird for a dude to like Journey. It would be weird for a dude to put his hands over his head during Def Leppard when they're singing Pour Some Sugar on Me. It's weird. Like, dude can't sing that. Or you shouldn't. It's just weird still for me that I don't hate Journey, but I've grown to like them more over time. But
right. No,
I don't have a problem with you not liking Journey.
and again, they don't suck. I get that's the difference. They don't suck. I just can't get into it. There's a ton of, like look at Bob Seger. I'm going to piss everybody off who loves that dude. That doesn't touch me at all. Music is supposed to touch, you know what I mean? Like, it's supposed to connect. I cannot get anywhere near Bob Seger. I can't.
I like the Detroit, the working man thing. He kind of had a Springsteen. There was a bunch of guys that were going into work every day listening to Seger, and that was attractive to me. The fact that he represented a working guy.
So yeah, I could go down bands all night long and then just piss everybody off. But I don't want to do that. So what do you got, Rod? What's a unpopular music opinion? And I got one more when you're done.
I can listen at max to 5 Rod Stewart songs and then the voice, get him a fucking cough drop. I like Rod Stewart, but when I hear Rod Stewart back to back to back, and I've got greatest hits, I feel like after 5 songs, it's like, dude, clear your throat. I don't know how he maintains that rasp. It makes my throat hurt listening to too much Rod Stewart. And I like Rod Stewart, but I can't listen to a lot of it. It's just, dude, get some tea.
That's a good point. Did you see him live at Jazz Fest a couple of years ago? Were you here?
I've seen him live before. I went to Biloxi, Mississippi to go see him when I lived there.
Wow.
But I don't think I saw him at Jazz Fest.
I had, Rod Stewart, legend. Okay, he's playing. I'm going to go see a legend. Okay, at this point, I'm going to see whoever's left, no matter what I got to do to see him. I never saw Rod Stewart before. Dude, and again, I know maybe 8 or 9 songs. He comes out and just destroys, kills. He was so freaking great. And I guess live, it doesn't grate on you as much as when you're listening to like the songs, the albums versions.
Yeah. It's just me. I like him. It's just the voice. If 5 songs, I got to check out. I'm like, bro, my fucking throat's killing me.
Yeah.
And I haven't even said anything. I'm just listening to music. Anthony Kiedis cannot sing. He can't sing. He can't sing. When I hear Under the Bridge,
right.
That to me, your monkey dick, whatever you said earlier, that's it. Boom. It's going through the one eardrum and it's blasting out the other one. Okay. That's a big monkey dick. Anthony Kiedis can't sing. He can't. I'm sorry.
You know what? And I've heard that story before. I've heard people say that there's a dividing line with it. You know how like Metallica has like, there's the people who love Metallica up to the Black Album and then, they sold out. They suck.
When James learned how to sing.
Correct. Well, there's that whole dividing line. Once like Under the Bridge came out, all your original Chili Peppers fans hated it because then he tried to sing. Back when he was doing that rap thing or whatever it was that Anthony Kiedis was doing, he's good at that. He smokes on that.
Yeah, he's entertaining.
Singing. And then, I think they forced him to sing harmonies with Frusciante after a while.
2 more quickly. I've said this before on the air. I think Garth Brooks should go in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Don't throw anything.
Jesus Christ.
I think you're going to open. I think he opens it up and then boom. It's the Music Hall of Fame, guys. You're caught up in the name rock and roll.
Absolutely. Why not just put whoever?
Elvis. He's Elvis of country music.
Yeah. I mean, we just let all that dust settle from the last 2 episodes ago about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And here we are opening it right back up. Way to go. Nice job. Way to go.
All right. My last one.
All right.
And this is one that it pains me to say it out loud, kind of like reading some of these from Buzzfeed. I don't get Bob Dylan. I'm sorry. I don't get it. Now, hear me out, please, because people just turned us off. Okay. Can I not like somebody but understand his importance and his place? Do you see the difference there?
Totally. I do. Yeah, it makes sense.
He's so respected by everybody. He has to be great. It's me. Everybody thinks that he's the greatest thing ever. It's 100% me. I have the problem, not Bob Dylan. I don't like him. I'm done.
But why?
I'm done. I don't connect. He's not the voice of my generation. And that sounds like such an ignorant thing because I have appreciation for things that came before me. If I do shit on millennials or younger people, they think the world started spinning when they were born. Okay. And they take pride. They think they take pride in not knowing things. Okay. And I'm painting with a wide brush here.
Sure.
I appreciate things that came before me. I take the time to learn about things that came before me. I can't get into Bob Dylan. Everybody loves him. I'm wrong. Can't get into him. Sorry.
I've seen Bob Dylan live a couple of times, and yeah.
Did you fall asleep?
I went and got beers a few times. Now he is different. Every show he plays his songs differently, and I think that's
because he's got a million songs. Of course, he probably has never played the same song twice.
He's more of a lyric guy, I mean,
Yes.
in his drony ass voice, that's not easy to listen to. And what I don't understand, going back to the original Beyonce situation, what I mean? Like she comes out with something, the whole world goes, "Oh my God, Beyonce." Well, it might not be that good. Rolling Stone magazine. If Bob Dylan shits in a bucket and dumps it in the street, they're going to write a full 10-page article on it and put them on the cover.
How great it is.
He
Right.
has always had that going for him for whatever reason. And again, I'm not a great Dylan guy either. I don't necessarily like him. Now, he's written some great songs that other people have taken and ran with. Look at All Along the Watchtower. Look what Jimi Hendrix did with that. You know,
Sure. I love when people cover his songs. I just hate when he covers himself.
he writes great songs that other people fix. All right, here's you know what? Okay, this could go on for a while. I'll give you one, and I think you might agree with me on this one. And I'm just going to say it very bluntly. Grateful Dead. What the fuck is going on there? Somebody explain to me. I've listened to every album. I've tried and I've tried and I've tried. I've given it a run. You know what I figured out? I don't do drugs. That's why I don't like them. I don't like them because I don't do drugs. I think you have to be on drugs to understand the Grateful Dead, because back in the 60s, everyone was on drugs who followed the Grateful Dead around.
I was never a Grateful Dead fan. I wasn't.
I respect the shit out of them. I get it. It does. I've tried, man.
But I'm not Fish. Like, I can tell you why I don't like it. I don't like going off, even when I was in a band and I played and they wanted to do some 20-minute blues jam. I'm like, no, are you kidding me?
Nobody gives a
I'm
shit.
fucking bored out of my balls. Dun, 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 dun. And I tell you all the time, in New Orleans, if you want to go see some great music, I'm about to shit on it, but if you want to go see some great music, you go to Frenchman Street, okay? Get off of Bourbon Street, go to Bourbon Street, have a good time. Don't ever crap on Bourbon Street. It's awesome, okay? It's fun. It's great, okay? You're going to spend most of your time there. Go to Frenchman Street, okay? But that's where you're going to see bands that will sometimes jam, okay? And here's the song. You ready? Now, you got to have a beer. You got to have a craft beer in your hand, and you got to do this. Now, do this with me. You ready? So those of you that are watching on YouTube, here's the song. You ready? Dun 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 dun. I'm not done. They will play that song in 4 bars for an hour and a half each. Okay. Now you got a guy on the Hammond B3 ripping the keys, John Lord, the whole thing. Okay. But all you hear? You've heard that song, right, Jason?
I might have been around it a couple of thousand times.
Listen, it's awesome. I'm just not like, I need some songs. I need you to get in and out. Sometimes I'm in the mood for sitting around, but then, okay, let's go. Just playing one song for 25 minutes and then going into another 25-minute song. And then your set's over. You played 2 songs. Come on. That's not for me.
I'm good. I got one, and then we'll have to take a quick break. And this isn't necessarily, I'm not shitting on anything. It's just a phrase I see constantly all over the internet. I know it's here in New Orleans. I'm sure it's all over the place in Houston. And you see it from a lot of people in the industry, in the bar world, in the local concert biz. Support local music. They always put out, hey, make sure you support local music. Hey, tell you what, how about have a good band and have a good song? I'll come see you. I'm not coming out just because I'm going to support local music. I'll support local music when I got a band I want to go see. Just blanketing that term. Yes, I do support local music. Yes, I do go see bands, but just saying support local bands or support local music, don't give a shit. Don't care. Give me a band. I'll go see it.
I understand. I understand your point of view, because it's putting all the pressure on you. Yeah. It's like, you got to keep it going, but make sure that the product is good.
There you go.
And not all the products are great out there.
No, but just blanket saying support local music. What are you talking about?
It's like going out like afterwards. Like, everybody knows that the restaurant business is hurting right now. So get out there and support local. But it's got to be good, though. I'm not going to go to a shitty restaurant just to, hey, you got to have a good product there, and I will support you. So I think that goes hand in hand with music too.
Yeah, it's the old, support small business. Well, if fucking Walmart's got it for $2 and small business Bob has got it for $80, I'm going to Walmart. Now, I shop at the small businesses every chance I get. But again, same thing. If it's good, I am in. Rod, coming up, we're going to talk. Whoo, boy, are we going to get into it next? Memorial Day is coming up. We're going to go for our top 5 favorite war movies. This shit's going to get good.
This wasn't the most difficult top 5 list.
Oh, really?
But for me, it came together pretty quick. So I'm excited to get into this. All right. If you're planning that road trip, let's talk about New Orleans. So go to New Orleans.
Better than that.
So get out there, support live music, and support a great local business in New Orleans, and it's Pirates of the Quarter. Okay. So piratesofthequarter.com. That's the website, at Pirates of the Quarter. And it's a 5-star rated walking tour. And it tells real tales, okay? These guys are telling you real history, okay? About smuggling and sword fights and cannons and battles and loaded with historical information. But it's going to be fun the whole time. You're getting all of these great tales of actual things that happened. You're going to walk and you're going to see the places where real pirates were. Pirates are not just something that Disney put out there and they made a movie about. It was a real part of what New Orleans is all about. So a walking tour of the French Quarter is always going to be badass. You're walking away. You're learning some great stuff. The Pirates have been awarded the Traveler's Choice Award by TripAdvisor last 2 years. Discover the pirate history of New Orleans, piratesofthequarter.com. Of course, we have links up on our Play Pants podcast page and YouTube page. So yeah, go check it out if you're planning a trip, and there's going to be a lot of people traveling. And I know a lot of people are listening, maybe on their way to Memorial Weekend, and you're maybe going to New Orleans. Go see my boys, Pirates of the Quarter. Memorial Day is on Monday. So New Orleans has a great tie-in to World War II. The National World War II Museum is in New Orleans. And if you've ever heard my radio show in Houston, I tell you all the time, I know you're going to party balls. I know you're going to listen to the music. But get up early,
Jesus,
and go to the damn World War II Museum, the D-Day Museum. It is the National Museum, okay? Like Jason, I'm a bit of a history buff. And, somebody made a joke. It was one of the stand-up comedians, and he was talking about his dad. And he's like, Jesus Christ, he studies this stuff like there's going to be a test. It seems like you get a certain age and all of a sudden you start learning about World War II. It's really weird. And it happened to me too. But a lot of it came because of what was going on in New Orleans and being granted, they could have gone anywhere in the United States of America and put that damn World War II museum, and they put it in New Orleans. And there's reasons, the Higgins boat, and there's a great story why it's there. But I am fascinated with all of this stuff. So with Memorial Day coming up, I asked Jason if he wanted to do a top war movie list, and he's like, yeah, let's do this. Then I put a little caveat in there, and I don't know if we never talked about it. I said, I mean, it's Band of Brothers and everything else. Band of Brothers is the greatest thing that's ever been out for me personally. It's the greatest cinema. It's the greatest everything, but it was a TV show and it was a series. So I asked you if you wouldn't mind omitting that.
Yeah.
You good with that?
Oh yeah, totally. Cause that is so great. It is so, I've watched that whole series probably 7 or 8 times over the
Pacific is great too, but Band of Brothers, holy shit. It's the greatest thing I've ever seen. It's so the absolute, well done. How you guys maybe talk about The Sopranos or how much you like Breaking Bad. Nothing. Band of Brothers is just unbelievable. It really is. So that being said, Jason Ginty, how easy was this to put together for you?
It wasn't super hard because I had to omit a couple movies I didn't see. And I didn't realize I didn't see them. So I'm like, oh shit, I guess I got new movies I'm going to go and watch.
Okay, interesting.
So, and it didn't have to be World War II movies, right?
No, not at all.
Any kind of war movie. Well, let me start off. And it's
some of the great movies are like Vietnam movies, you know?
Of course. So, and I started off in a bit of a left field situation. Inglourious Bastards, Tarantino's movie with Brad Pitt. They're scalping Nazis. They're scalping Nazis. And they changed history, of course, at the end, right? They end up, I don't want to ruin it, so I won't say, but it's freaking great. And it's really
not historically accurate at all. It's Quentin
it.
Tarantino, nor is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Like, he did the exact same thing. It's not factual.
It's great.
Quentin Tarantino is a great storyteller. It's a great movie.
Yeah, Inglourious Basterds, I had to put that at 5 because it was just different. And it was just so well done. I thought Brad did a great job just being that goofy ass Kentucky dude or whatever. Number 4, Full Metal Jacket. Dude, Full Metal Jacket. I mean, how many phrases have you quoted over the years because of that stupid movie? Private Pile, Tu Buku. And then probably one of my favorite scenes, and it's so fucking bad. Remember the scene? They're in the helicopter, right? This is in the second part of the movie, you know, when they're in Vietnam. And that guy,
it's 2 movies. It's boot camp and then it's the war.
So when they're in Vietnam, Private Joker and the photographer and the helicopter and that one crazy dude with a mustache, he's just shooting fucking people from Vietnam in the field.
Yes.
And he's just bam, bam, get some. And you're just sitting there, and then the photographer, he's like throwing up in his fucking helmet and shit. And Private Joker's like, how can you kill women and children? And then the guy goes, easy, just don't lead them as much. Oh, Jesus Christ. That movie, it's so brutally well done. And it's so impactful in so many different ways. And you're just like, yeah, war's fucked up. It just is.
So I got to know Arlie Ermy a little bit. And,
cool.
And he came in a couple of times. And, you know, that's what you're going to talk to Arlie Ermy about.
Yeah,
he gave me a challenge coin and stuff. It really meant the world to me, and I still have it. And he's no longer with us, but I got to meet him and I got to spend a little time with him a couple of times. He loved me talking about Saving Silverman. If you remember him in that movie with Jack Black.
Oh, yeah.
He's the coach. He's the coach. And Neil Diamond. He had a great Neil Diamond story. He was awesome. But most people will know that he really was a drill instructor, right. Paris Island, Marines. He was brought on he told this story all the time and he loved it. He was brought on as a consultant. And then all of a sudden, the director of the movie said, no one's going to do this better than you, man. You got to do it. So he's in the movie. He was just going to be a sideline guy. He was going to be coaching the person up that was going to be the drill instructor. And he was Sergeant Gunnery Hartman. There was no one else that could do it.
And didn't he write some of the lines in real time? And like, that's his shit. A lot of that is.
That's his. I mean, that's him. He's not even acting. It's just him. It's just what he did.
Right.
He was so great in that. You're right. It's phenomenal.
It's so good from beginning to end. And again, I'm going to go back and watch it again for the 900th time. This one may not be the best war movie, but it fits with what we do. Good Morning Vietnam. Okay, Robin Williams, the DJ, Adrian Cronauer. It's all the radio guys sitting around, and they're telling the story of the situation in Vietnam through DJs. And I fell in love with the movie when it came out. I'm like, oh, that's so cool, man. I want to do that someday. But then when you get past all the funny shit that Robin Williams is pulling off, he can be serious. And that's when I realized, holy shit, this guy can really act.
He can act.
Because as they tell the story of him and the kid, and then the Vietnam, and then it's all the spy shit. And it's like, and then the big part that got me the most, and I didn't know it back being young and dumb when the movie came out, was the amount of propaganda and what they could and couldn't say on the radio. They had to remember the 2 chubby twins?
The censorship.
Circle everything, the censorship.
Yes.
And I was like, man, that's really jacked up. And in these war movies obviously always have a lot of messages in them that, I learned through the stupid movies. Saving Private Ryan, obviously number 2. A lot of people are like, what? Number 2. But what got me from that movie, obviously the opening scene is what gets everybody because it's so well done. They spent millions of dollars and it's pretty much how it was, I guess, apparently.
Right.
What the scene that gets me every time, and I've actually, how often do you at this age turn away from the screen or try not to watch because it just creeps you out so much in a certain way? How many movies do that? And do you even do that anymore? Do you just watch it?
I'm not like a gory, scary. It's not my thing. So, but this movie, you're right. I mean, that opening 20 minutes is brutal to watch.
But the scene that gets me, and I have a very hard time watching it still, it freaks me out. It creeps me out. Is that scene where they're defending the bridge, right? They found Ryan. It's near the end. And the Germans are coming through that little town. The sniper's up in the tower, right? And that little pussy has got all the bullets around his neck.
Yeah.
He froze. And the other dude, the Jewish guy on the American side, is in that fist fight upstairs with a German dude that they let go.
Yes.
He's got the knife, and they're taking that knife, and that dude's got it. And he's like, wait. No.
I forgot about that.
And he's
That's brutal.
Slowly plunging the knife into his chest. Dude, I can't even, I'm having trouble talking about it. It's so brutal. It's worse than the gore. It's so freaking, because that's the guy knows I've lost. It's over.
Right.
Please stop. Nope. Not gonna. I mean, that just paints that picture of war.
I'm on the edge of my seat. You have Saving Private Ryan at number 2.
Schindler's List. Number 1. Dude, I don't even want to talk about that freaking movie. That is so great. So brutal. I mean, just think of it. Black and white movie. The little girl in the red dress, right? Running down the street. And then later, they show the red dress in the pile of clothes.
It's brutal.
I mean, I don't even want to go
brutal.
there. That and from a war standpoint, I don't remember it being a lot of war, but from message, and man, I learned a lot about watching that movie, dude. I was like, fuck.
That movie is
brutal.
It's brutal. Like it's you see it once. Like I would never watch it again. I would never watch Passion of the Christ again. I needed to see it, right? Like I needed to see the movie. And I did, and I'll never, ever watch it again. Schindler's List, I'll never watch it again.
It's powerful.
It's just one time, right?
That's enough. It's so powerful, though, man. Rod, what do you got? I mean, there's obviously no right or wrong. This isn't about being right or wrong. This is just about, well.
So I start writing down movies. Inglourious Bastards, I've got that written down. I wrote down Apocalypse Now. Didn't make my list.
I had that, and I couldn't put it on the list. I had other ones. I like that movie.
This is Bob Dylan. What did you guys see when you were watching Dunkirk that it's on the top of every war movie list? What did I miss? Did you see Dunkirk? Please tell me you saw it.
I saw it and I liked it. I didn't love it, but I don't think I understood it.
What are people seeing that it's what did I miss? Why am I so ignorant that I'm missing something awesome that Harry Styles did? Nobody's even talking at the movie. They had Tom, whatever his name is in it. He's in the plane. He doesn't talk. Like, what did I miss on Dunkirk? It's not on my list. I just couldn't believe how high on every list it was.
Yeah, it did show up a lot. I remember watching it. I'm like, this is good. I liked it. But I think after reading a few articles on it, it's like the way it told 3 different stories. And it's like, okay, well, if you got to explain that to me, man, the movie missed a point. It went over my head or something. I don't know. Still decent. Not on my list either.
Okay. The other thing that I found when I was researching this, because I do like to check, just what did I forget? What did I miss? I didn't put it in my top 5. I love this movie, and I'm sorry, I'm just not calling it a war movie. Did you know Last of the Mohicans is a war movie?
I did. I guess, yeah. I mean,
damn it. I just didn't think it was a war movie. It is a war. Of course it's a war movie.
It's not what you
I'm
think.
sorry. I'm so caught up in John Wayne wearing okay.
Yeah.
My number 5, it's an old movie. And I don't know, I was exposed to a lot of this stuff because my mom was really into movies and movie stars. And we had this stuff on all the time. Stalag 17 is the name of the movie. William Holden, who turned out to be like one of my favorite guys. I guess the significance of this movie, and it's great. It's black and white. It's awesome. And it really shows you they're not torturing anybody. It's a Nazi concentration prison camp. Okay. That movie was the muse for the television show Hogan's Heroes.
Okay. All right.
So if you ever saw Hogan's Heroes, and that's an old sitcom, kind of like MASH, it was a very serious backdrop, but they made it a comedy. And Hogan's Heroes was a little bit more slapsticky than MASH. MASH dealt with some serious stuff. Hogan's Heroes was always kind of goofy. You almost forgot the guys were, locked up. But Stalag 17 is where that came from. It's my number 5. And again, it's my only really old black and white one. Number 4, Platoon.
Yeah, see, that's great too, man. Shit.
I love Platoon. Hard to watch, brutal scenes.
Yeah.
Tom Berenger, you would think he's like the good looking guy, that he's going to be the good guy. Nope. He's the bad guy. And the freaking Green Lantern or the Green Goblin is the good guy. Willem Dafoe.
Yeah.
You know, Willem Dafoe, you think, okay, he's going to be the bad guy here. No, he's the good guy.
Yeah, that weird face.
And they just, it was awesome.
Yeah.
Platoon is my number 4. My number 3 is Good Morning Vietnam.
Oh, wow. All right. There you go.
And I do think it's a great war movie. The scene, and I was wondering if you were going to mention, the scene for me is Cronauer, played by Robin Williams, wants to quit. He's had enough.
Oh,
and what's his name with the wonky eye? So he's driving him. Forrest Whitaker. Forrest Whitaker is kind of his handler, right?
Right.
And
so great.
And they're driving and they're stuck because all these dudes are, you know, they're going off to their next mission and they're all in the back of the trucks. And Forrest Whitaker says, "Hey guys, guess who I got in the car with me?" And Robin Williams, I believed everything. It was perfect. Don't do this. Don't do this. I don't want to do this. And he said, "I got Adrian Cronauer here." And I'm telling you, I could start tearing up now because this scene is so great. That's when Robin Williams, his character, realizes what he means to those guys. And they're going off and half of them are going to get their faces blown off. And he's just like, "Guys, be safe." And he was just that little bit of ray of sunshine, that little bit of like, and that's, I don't want to compare it to what we do for a living, but, you know, people tell me like, "Hey, you know, you listen to the radio and Rod, you know, I've been having a bad day and I listened to the show and it kind of turned my day around." On a level times a million, what this guy was doing. And I know they took Hollywood liberties with the movie, but that scene when Robin Williams realizes how important he is to these young dudes.
Oh, it's so great.
It is. I'm like, Robin Williams can really act. Holy shit. He's really good. He's the funniest dude on the planet. And he's like right now, he's the best actor in the world. Right now in this scene, he's the best actor.
Yeah. Such a great movie in so many different levels. So great.
Number 2, Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah.
All of the stuff that I said about the late great R. Lee Ermey. You know, one of your best friends was a drill instructor in Paris Island. You know, it was so spot on, the accuracy of what it was like, and, you know, how these drill instructors and how rough they were on these dudes. And they were creating killers. And I had it explained to me, you know, like drilling, because you weren't in the military, either was I. Mm. But you're yelling and yelling and yelling at these guys, and you're stripping them of everything so that when they do get into war, they do get in. The guy says, "Go." You don't even think about it. You know that this isn't going to go well for you, but you're told to go and you just go because you've been trained and you're a trained killer. I thought that movie really portrayed that. Like, it really got it across to me. And then Saving Private Ryan, you know, you knew that was coming. It's the greatest war movie of all time for me. And we wouldn't have Band of Brothers if it wasn't for Saving Private Ryan, because the partnership with Steven Spielberg and Tom Hanks, boy, they went down a wormhole, and they gave us that amazing epic cinema that was Band of Brothers, and we owe Saving Private Ryan for that. But that story is just amazing. It just is. It's done so well. That opening scene, like you said, it's untouchable, that opening scene.
So let me ask you this, Rod. This is a great parenting question. Okay. My son is 12. All right. He's 12. Now, he's a history nerd. He loves to read about books. He's been to the World War II Museum a bunch of times. He's got the idea. He knows what World War II is about. He's done a lot of research on it. So I saw that Saving Private Ryan was coming up on TV, and I said, so would you be willing to watch Saving Private Ryan? Now, we don't let him watch a lot of gory shit. It's an R movie. You know, it's mostly for the blood and the guts and the gore, obviously, in that opening segment. I said, listen, you want to watch it? I said, it's a little rough. I said, it can be brutal. And he goes, yeah. I said, if you don't want to watch it or you freak out, we'll turn it off. All right, fair enough. Well, then and he watched it and he loved it. He was like, oh my God, this is amazing. He goes, a little gross, but he thought it was so great that he got the idea because he's done all the reading about it and he's learned so much about it. And he's like, holy crap, everything I read and everything I was taught, this really brings it home. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The brutality of what it was like being in the trenches and all that stuff.
Did he watch it on an HBO or did he watch it on a clean and sanitized network?
Full blown, man. We went all
wow.
in.
Okay.
Yeah. And
wow.
So and I talked to different, at soccer practice, you're sitting around with the dads and the moms, you're killing time. And I told them, and some of them got like weirded out that I had let my 12-year-old boy watch Saving Private Ryan. Now, again, he's a fan of the World War II history. And I said, listen, man, I don't care what your other parents say about what I do. It's my choice, right? But I said, listen, man, if your kid watching all those Marvel movies and they're beating the shit out of each other for 2 hours in those movies, it's violence. This just shows it a little bit more gory, but it's got real historical context behind it. So I was like, look, maybe I'm not dad of the year again for the 200th year in the running, but he watched it. He loved it, man. He was like, holy shit. That's, he didn't say holy shit, but he was like, holy cow, that's heavy. That's heavy.
Well,
but
we went through this a little bit. We went through this a little bit with your firstborn because Jason's daughter, my goddaughter, she worked at the World War II Museum.
Right.
And I told her that she could have, I think I had double copies or something of Band of Brothers. And I had to go through you. I'm not going to just send them to her. I'm going to go through you. And you're like, well, I'm cool with it as long as we watch it together. So you had already been through something like that with Band of Brothers.
Right. And she was much younger then, obviously. But you know what?
Yeah.
You just got to read the kid. You got to read the room.
Yeah.
You're not just going to go, hey, you're 8. We just got done watching Frozen. How about Saving Private Ryan next? You're going to get out a little bit, You're going to
honorable mention, just a sleeper movie and it's perfect for Memorial Day, which a lot of you are probably listening or watching this over Memorial Day weekend. Taking Chance. Have you ever heard of it?
No.
It's Kevin Bacon.
No.
It's my it's my sleeper, and it is the perfect Memorial Day weekend movie. Reason being, Chance is the kid's name. I say kid's name. He was killed in combat, and I believe the time period is the Iraq War. And Kevin Bacon volunteers to take his body back to the hometown, and the respect that is paid, and how the dignity and how serious Kevin Bacon is, and how serious he's taking the fact that he's in charge of this, how they treat somebody that was killed in war. It gives you a behind the scenes of, I promise you, stuff that you don't know. You've seen a coffin before and you've seen a flag draped over it. That's just the beginning.
Right.
He never leaves that soldier's side.
Oof.
Taking Chance. I think it might have been made for HBO. So that's why it's my sleeper, but it's heavy. And I'm telling you, I can't watch that movie without crying. It's so great. It's so unbelievably great. You will learn a ton. And I think you'll have a whole new way to look at Memorial Day weekend. It's grilling and chilling and all of that stuff.
It's great.
But it really is. You got to think about why we get that day off. And nothing for me will set it up like watching that movie.
I'm gonna have to check that one out.
It's a good one, man.
And I know we're just talking about these movies and how great they are, but like I've said a couple times, these movies have taught me so much. I wasn't in the military. I don't totally understand. I've got friends. My brother was in the Marine Corps, right? So I've heard bits and pieces of different military stories. But to the guys who actually were in Vietnam or World War II or in any Iraq war, anything like that, hats off to you, man. You know what I mean? Like that's just insane. The sacrifices that are made. And I get that's what Memorial Day is all about. But just, the movies help to sell it to people, and they're never going to get it right.
Right.
But I know it sells to me. And I just more respect, always.
I want to give a shout out to everybody that's been hitting us up on social media. I know we've been kind of like hitting a couple, dingers with these top 5 lists, and I love seeing you guys put together your top 5. So top 5 war movies. I mean, there's a million of them. My list was crazy. I didn't even get into the new ones like Lone Survivor and American Sniper. Those are great movies, man. Those are great. Those are like all timers for me. They just didn't make it into the top 5. So I would like you guys to shoot us your top 5s and then suggestions for top 5s. Toby sent in a suggestion for a future top 5. And it might have been something that I had maybe talked about on the air here. So Toby must be here. But he said rock photos or rock album covers, band album, like the all-time great album covers. So that might be something down the road. So if you guys have suggestions for future top 5s, I imagine at some point we're going to run out of ideas and we're going to be doing our top 5 fingers. So if you have ideas,
I ran out last week, dude.
If you have ideas, man, please send them along. Coming up, we're going to do a little public service. And it is something that is pretty, it means a lot to Jason and myself. We're going to talk about why dudes don't go to the doctor. And I may actually have an answer. They may have talked to enough dudes where they kind of figured out, okay, what's keeping you away? So I do want to get into that a little bit before we hear from another one of our sponsors.
Dude, when you are looking to go out, okay, and Memorial Day weekend is here, it's time to go out, man. I had some friends over last weekend, Rod, and one thing I've noticed, and I don't know if you've been out a few times, but people are fired up when they go out right now. Like people were in my backyard, we were hanging out having drinks, and people were so damn excited. I can't believe I'm talking to a human. You know what I mean? I'm not in my living room. This is so great. People are excited about going out. And if you're going out in Houston, man, Lucky's Pub West, I-10 at Barker Cypress. Now, Astros baseball is on over 40 TVs, 40 TVs. You're going to be able to see the game wherever you sit. Now, don't just come thirsty, come hungry. They got amazing food. They got the best pizza on the best side. Those wings, I can almost smell them right now. Killer wings, burgers, and as I've been told, every week after we do the podcast, I run into somebody and they go, dude, when I go to Houston, I'm going to Lucky's because I got to try those Philly cheese steak egg rolls. Dude, these are world famous, I think, at this point. It's amazing. Yeah. And the Rod Ryan Show will be live hosting Ditch Day, formerly known as Senior Skip Day, Friday, June 11th, starting at noon. Ditch Day. Dude, I may have to make a little drive across Texas. Come to Ditch Day. This sounds cool as hell, man. Lucky's Pub West, I-10 at Barker Cypress. What's going on at Ditch Day? Tell me, man. Give me some deets.
Day drinking. That's it. It was an excuse to day drink. That's it. Go in. We're going to do the show. Get your shit done. Whatever you got to record, whatever spots you got to cut, promos, get out. Noon. We're drinking. You have to have a beer in your hand at noon. If you're on the show, you have to have a beer in your hand at noon. If you are one of the members, you can't have a beer in your hand at 12:01. You can't get there at 5 after. Alex has a ton of work to do after the show. You have to have a beer in your hand. We have to be there at noon, ready to go. So it's just, dude, it was an excuse to day drink. We called it Senior Skip Day when we were in high school.
Yeah.
So
always. So
for years we've done Senior Skip Day. And this year we didn't do it last year because of, the world. And I didn't want to have to explain. People would still all these years. And the seniors, you gotta be senior. Can I just come and drink? I'm like, fuck this. It's ditch day. Ditch work, ditch school, ditch your chick, ditch your dude. Come and party. Let's drink during the day. That's all it is. Get a safe ride home. Let's day drink. Let's drink. Sun's out. Boom. Sun's out. Beer's out. That's all it is.
Friday, June 11th, Lucky's Pub West. We got the links on our podcast page and basically everywhere right now, man.
All right. This was a topic that Jason and I were going back and forth on. We're like, do we get into this? And I do think it's important. I don't think anyone's looking up to us, but I don't mind using using airtime on the radio show. And I don't mind using time here. Okay. Dudes are dumb. Okay. Dudes are dumb.
Absolutely.
And we don't live as long as women. Why? Because we're dumb.
Dumb.
Okay.
So
Now,
stupid.
we're higher risk takers. There's all kinds of things. Okay. There's all kinds of things that go into it, but we're dumb. Okay. Guys don't go to the doctor. And I talk about it on the air. And I've been lucky that I have had insurance my entire life. Through college, my dad kept me on his insurance. I got a job, boom, got insurance. I've gone to the doctor twice a year, every year. Gone to the dentist. Believe it or not, your teeth and your gums and your teeth are directly related to your overall health. I highly recommend. I'm not going to get into a whole thing about going to the dentist right now, but you should go to the dentist. But going to the doctor, and now Jason and I are men of a certain age, okay? It blows my mind when somebody tells me that they're 45 years old, that they're 43 years old, they haven't been to a doctor in 10, 15 years. It's very common. Jason, it's very, very common for guys out there that haven't gone. I feel great, Rod. You got to go get a checkup. And the longer you put it off, the scarier it gets. Same thing for the dentist. I promise you, I'm not going to harp on the dentist, but the stuff's not going to fix itself, okay? It got worse because of last year. People didn't go to the doctor because you probably couldn't go to the doctor, and telemedicine can only do so much. When I started getting my doctor at 40 to put his finger in my asshole, I wanted to tell everybody about it. And we do Prostate Cancer Awareness Month in the month of August, which goes into Boobs Rock in October. And everybody knows all the pink shit. Everybody knows the boobies, okay? But dudes, okay? It's like the number 2 cancer for us after skin cancer. And it's the most treatable. It's the most preventable. It's the most curable cancer that men can get if it's detected early. You turn 40 years old, every year that doctor's got to stick a finger in your asshole, okay? The one thing you're going to realize, you breathe out of your asshole. I can't breathe when he's in there. He's in there for 3 seconds, and I'm like, and then it's over. I didn't know I breathed through my butthole.
Sometimes you have to.
At 50, they put a camera in there. Now, my doctor's not cool at all. There are people that will tell me, and you'll get an email, Jason, and you'll see it on social media. Well, my doctor said we could do this through blood work. Fine, do it that way. There's PSA levels that you can get through blood work. I ask my doctor all the time. He's like, dude, don't you want to be sure? He goes, I don't want to do it. I don't like doing it. I joke with my doctor. He goes, I don't like doing it. Okay. But this is the way that I think it's the surest way. We'll also check your blood, but I still think this is the best way. I'm like, oh, okay, doc, only because you're a small man and you have small hands. Okay. He's a little Indian guy. It's great. So, I mean, we're less likely to go see a doctor if the reasons make us feel old, back pain, anything that resembles us getting old, or if we're embarrassed about something. Guys won't go. And it seems like such a silly thing. And I get it. If you haven't been in a long, long time, you got to go to the doctor. You have to go. I mean, if you don't have a chick, it's even worse. It's even worse.
They'll make the call.
Chicks will make you go
before you.
So, married guys live longer than single men. Why? Because their chicks make them go to the doctor. Chicks go to the doctor. Okay,
man.
They got to go to the clam doctor. They got to get the boobs smushed. They got to do all the stuff.
They got a lot of moving parts.
Then they force their dudes to go to the doctor. That's why you'll live longer if you get married. Single dudes go to the doctor.
It's important. And I always like to equate it to dudes. I did this thing last year, Rod, and you know this. I did a thing in the month of November. I wanted to raise awareness for men's health because
this was awesome. I couldn't believe you did this. And I didn't know that I didn't even know you went through the lifestyle change you did when you made the announcement.
So I did it because dudes are dumb. And I actually worked in the marketing department at a hospital for about 2.5 years while I was doing some radio. I wanted to kind of go and work in the civilian world and see what it was like. I didn't like it. I got to be honest with you. I didn't really like it very much. But I did marketing in a hospital. So what do you think they told you and they harped on constantly? Early detection will save your ass. Now, dudes love motorcycles. A lot of guys listening got motorcycles. Fuck yeah, they do. They got cool cars. What do? You maintain that shit. You polish that shit. You get the oil change a couple times a year. Here's how I made the equation. Get your oil changed. Book your appointment for your oil change. Book your appointment for your doctor. You treat your car better than you treat your own body, right?
True. 100% true. I mean, you got to use those types of examples to, we're cement heads.
Well,
I wrote it down because you said your quote was "dudes are dumb." I wrote that down. So go ahead.
With quotations. And I did this thing. I did this thing called 5K a day last November, and every day, and you can look at all the videos. I did a quick 2-minute video every day as I'm running. I ran a 5K, 3.2 miles every single day for November 1st through November 30th. That's 5K every single day. That's a lot of mileage. Okay. And I record a video while I was running, and each day I had a little topic. Hey, here's why dudes are dumb. And I'd give you the stats. And it was actually kind of fun. You can go to my YouTube channel, just look for Jason Ginty, and you can check all that shit there. But every day it had a simple, effective message. Go to the doctor. Doesn't matter. You know what? Because chances are, if you're not going to the doctor and you feel fine, there's a lot of shit going on inside. High cholesterol, high blood pressure. You don't know about that stuff. It's going to kill you. It's going to freaking kill you. Why don't dudes go to the doctor? Well, from my couple of years in marketing, I learned that guys grew up being told when you skinned your knee, suck it up, boy. Quit crying like a little sissy. Up and up. That's part of the problem. So that keeps you from going to the doctor. Also, guys, we got the superhero syndrome, right? Oh, yeah, I got it. Just rub some dirt on that. I'll be fine. I'll be okay.
Yeah.
No, tape it up. Put some sticks on there. I'll be fine. You watch sports? How many times you been hanging out with a bunch of dudes watching football? Some dude gets his brain racked in a game, and they take him out, and everyone's like, pussy, get back in the game. There's a reason he's out of the game. He's fucking hurt.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to think of it that way. Men do die sooner before women. It's because dudes are dumb. You gotta go to the doctor. And I'm not gonna beat the hell out of this because I don't think you're gonna convince somebody. But if you convince one person, and that was my goal, convince one person. Actually, I had a lot of people reach out to me as I was doing that 5K a day last year, saying, you know what, you're right, Ginty. Thanks a lot for doing that. I actually did go to the doctor because of you. And this November, dude, I'm doing 10K a day because I ain't a
Wow.
bitch. 10K a day. I went to the doctor a couple weeks ago. I said, look, I've been clean eating, no meat, no Cokes, no dairy. I'm running fucking million miles a week. I said, and I'm on cholesterol medicine. I've had high cholesterol for years. He said, let me check your blood work. I said, I've been taking my pills for a couple months. He goes, you're right in the wheelhouse, brother. You're good. You don't take the
You don't need them anymore.
Don't need them. Don't need. If you're eating cheeseburgers every night and putting bacon on them and drinking beers every night, look, I love that shit. I love it. It's probably not the best. And the older you get, the worse it gets.
So every year when I go for my physical, and it's a part of, and I'm lucky enough to have benefits.
Sure.
Brothers, if you're out there and you don't have benefits, I don't know what to do. I mean, I don't live in that world, but you got to get Obamacare or whatever it is. You got to get to the doctor. You have to. You absolutely have to. You got to find a way. This isn't one of those situations where it's like, nah, I just can't. Yeah, you can. You have to figure out how. And every year when I go, I do get some sort of there's a financial, like I get money off because I go and I hit the things. And, you have to pay more if you smoke on my insurance.
Right.
You have to be honest about this stuff. So I don't smoke. It's like, boom, I get a discount. So if I go to the doctor and if I go in the first quarter of the year, there's another little boom, I get a little bit of a discount there. because, benefits, you're paying. Benefits aren't what they used to be. Benefits, it's just all my money. They're just, how much do I want to give them? It's like buying insurance almost. Right. So every year now, since I turned 40, it's a finger in the asshole. And I put together this I would be embarrassed to play it for you because Jason's really good at like radio and audio production. And I put together the hackiest song clips with explosions. Do You Really Want to Hurt Me? Slide It In by Whitesnake, explosion. AC/DC, fire, explosion, and then, of course I worked at a little Johnny Cougar, Hurt So Good. I'm like, who put that in there? It's this hacky thing that I put together. That's the emotions that's going through my head while this finger's in my ass. And I had this kid send me an email. And he said, Rod, I hear you all the time talk about this. He goes, I got on my dad to go to the doctor and get his prostate checked. And they found a lump. Oof. And they detected it early.
There you go.
And I said, I will never not talk about the day after I go to the doctor. I will never not talk about it for as long as I'm on the radio. I'm sorry, I'm going to abuse the airtime. But because of that kid, got his dad to go, may have saved his life. It's as simple as that. It really is that simple. So it's something that I'm not as passionate as Jason about running 5Ks every day, but for some reason, it just was always something a part of, and I get it. Like you guys growing up, everybody's coming from different backgrounds, right? And maybe you just didn't go to the doctor growing up. We just always did. We went to the dentist twice a year. You know what? We didn't have much, but we always had those bare minimum things. And that was one of the great things that, I really thank my mom for. My mom was the one. And it was easy because we had insurance through my dad. Even when they split, we still had the insurance. And my mom made us go to the doctor twice a year, like clockwork. She was an animal about it. All three of us kids. And moving forward, we've all been like that. So it's one of those things that you start real young and hopefully you keep it going. But if you weren't raised like that, you got to start somewhere. The stuff's not going to fix itself. That's the thing. It's like that toothache. You're hoping that it's going to go away.
No, no,
it's not. It's going to get worse. It's the reason that Tom Hanks on the island had to finally just knock that damn tooth out because it was hurting so bad.
Yeah, you use the ice skate, smash that shit out of your face. That's what you do, right, man. And then you start talking to a goddamn volleyball. Yeah, that's how much that shit hurts, dude. You don't want to be that guy. I gotta be honest. My mom got on me back, when I was in my 20s. I wasn't going to the doctor enough, obviously. And I always said I was too busy working. She's like, hey, guess what? If you got bad health, you ain't going to be working. I'm like,
yeah,
oof.
It's simple. It really is simple, but it's so easy to kind of just like, yeah, shut up. You know why? You don't listen to your parents when you're younger.
No, you certainly don't, man. But yeah, you have to go get your shit checked out. And, a lot of times, the whole thing in the finger in the ass is 3 seconds. A lot of guys will pay extra for that late night. You know what I mean? It's like, what are you complaining about? Put a camera in there. Shit, I've had everything in my house in there. What are you complaining about, man?
So I told you my doctor's not cool, man, but he let me shit in the bucket instead of the camera now.
What are we talking about right now?
Colon. I wrote it down. Is it colonies? Colon blow.
So wait, you bounce a freaking soldier?
You're listening to me? I shit in the bucket. I shit. Dude, they send it to you. Okay.
The bucket?
You never saw that little square box, Cologuard, with a C and a G? It's that little white box. He's got hands and he's got feet and he's walking around like a video game character.
No.
And it's people that are our age and they send you this thing. Okay. You open it up and it's like, oh boy, it's on. It's a little thing that goes on underneath your seat of your crapper. And then it holds the bucket and you shit in a bucket. Nobody's listening, right? This podcast has been going on forever.
What are we even talking about now?
That's shit in a bucket, and then you put a little in a tube. They give you some chemicals to put in there. You seal it up. Boom. You call the 1-800 number. You set your shit. You set your shit in the already sealed box that they give you. And some dude comes and picks it up. They put it on a plane, boom, whatever. It gets there and they test your crap.
Dude, mailmans are just quitting right now all over the country.
Yeah, dude.
Mailmans are just quitting right
It's
now.
insane. It's insane. Cologuard. It's sitting there. Now it doesn't, the box is kind of cool. It's kind of discreet. Everybody must know what it is. Anybody that's picking up this knows what it is. Yeah, you send your shit in the mail that you put in a bucket that came out of your poop hole. And then you get test results back. My doctor, because I should have already had the camera, because at 50, 51, they want you to get that camera.
Yeah,
and that you gotta get put out for that. And then they send a camera and take pictures of your asshole and your prostate. He said you're gonna have to eventually do it, but he goes, I'll tell you what, because I've penetrated you all these years and you've come in every year. He goes, I'll let you do the bucket. He goes, I think that thing's really 90%. He goes, it's good. It's really good. And I'm like, man, you're not cool at all, ever. He goes, I'll be cool on this. He goes, this is good. You will get the camera, though, probably in about 3 years. Oof. But I'll let you do this for right now.
Oof. Yeah.
Cologuard. Woo, woo. I shit in a bucket. I mailed it.
That's another way that you can take care of porch pirates too, Rod. You get the old Amazon boxes, you take your stuff out of there, you go shit in a bunch of Amazon boxes, throw those on the porch. Come on, steal this, motherfuckers. You come steal this, you're going to get a surprise. Go to the.
Is there anything that we missed today, Jason Ginty?
Dude, we talked about shitting in a box. I think we've covered most everything possible. And there's nobody listening now. I'm convinced. We can sit here and chit chat and give our social security numbers out right now, and nobody would know the difference.
All right. Any formal final thoughts today?
Yeah, I got a good one. You're going to like this.
Okay.
You've made jokes over the years, Rod. We'll sit around and we'll talk about whatever, our jobs. And then we talk about rich people. And then you've made this joke numerous times throughout the years about how I'm not exactly out in the backyard feeding my koi, right? Because that's what Hugh Hefner had. He had the koi pond, and that's a sign of a wealthy person. No, it's not. I have koi in my backyard.
You put a koi pond in your backyard?
I did.
Dude, there better be grotto and playmates all over the place. I know your wife ain't going for that, so you just have fish, right?
I do. And my son, and here's where it comes from. My son is almost 13, and because of the pandemic, he got bored as shit. And he asked one day to have a fish. So we got him a small fish. It died. He was pissed. He's like, I did everything right. I did exactly what they told me. He just got a bad fish. So then we went out and got a bigger tank. We got more fish, because that's what you do. Once you fail once, you just go on bigger and better.
Yeah.
So he spent 3 days just locked in his room doing all this research about fish and skin and fin rot and all what they eat and the water. And then he starts getting into the plants, and you've got to get the plant. Long story short, we got a 25-gallon tank full of unbelievably cool fish. And then he says, look, I want to get another tank because some of the fish in this tank have had babies. And if I keep them in here, these adults are going to eat the babies.
They eat the babies, sure.
They're my first babies. I can't have that. So he puts the babies in a different tank. Now we got 2 tanks in the house. And again, he's explaining it as he goes, very matter-of-factly. Okay. And he's not asking like, hey, I mean, he does ultimately ask for the tanks, but he's explaining it in such a way that he sneaks up on you. And the next thing you know, you're at the damn fish store buying more shit. He's pretty savvy that way. He goes, you know what we could do? He goes, he does the whole thing that you and I have both done numerous times in our lives. He goes, you know what? You know, it'd be cool. And then,
it'd be cool, Dad.
See? How many times have we said that to each other? He goes, you know, it'd be cool. We could dig a pond out here, and we could have koi, and we could have this, and we could have that. So long story short, a couple months ago, he's out there. I measured it off, and the 12-year-old dude is shoveling out.
Nice.
12 feet long by 6 feet wide by 2.5, 3 feet deep koi pond. Put the liner in. He's got all the water plants in there, dude. And now every time he does it, I just start laughing my ass off. And I think of your comment every time. He's out there and he's feeding koi. He's got the big thing of food, and he's just like, he's feeding the geese, man. He's just throwing the koi food over the pond. And dude, these koi are huge, and they swim up and they're eating the koi. I got a koi pond. The lesson here, Rodney, is when your kid starts getting a hobby, be careful and go slow, because it will explode and cost you all.
Yeah, get a handle on it, unlike you.
Oh no, he's already talking about like, a bigger tank. And I'm like, no, we're starting to say no, finally. It just snuck up on it, man. It's the goal. I've gotten to appreciate the fish thing, dude. You got final thoughts, Rod? You gotta go feed your koi?
Yeah. Final thoughts. I don't have a koi pond.
Yeah.
But my final thoughts, and I was thinking about this, and it's, sometimes I leave on something goofy, but it is Memorial Day weekend, what we're going into. And I saw something, and there's a reason that I'm bringing it up. I saw something, and I wanted to share it with you. Just so we know the difference, okay? Veterans Day, those that hung up the uniform, that's the day that you celebrate everybody that hung up the uniform. Thank you, veterans. Armed Forces Day, those still in uniform, we celebrate you. Memorial Day, those that never made it out of their uniform. Do you see the difference there?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I want to talk to guys that are in the military. People are trying to do the right thing. And you know this because you're on the radio and I'm on the radio. And I knew this, but I've heard people kind of screw it up before. And then, boy, you get attacked. It's like, hey, dude, this is the one where people passed away.
Right.
People are trying to do the right thing. Okay. So if you want to say, hey, this is to everybody that's in the military. Hey, man, I appreciate it, but let me just kind of clear it up for you. And if you want to use the words that I did, I'm sure you can say it way better than I just gave it to you. But ultimately, if somebody's thanking the military, because we just said we didn't serve, Jason and I, if you get something wrong, take a deep breath. Ultimately, that person is trying to do the right thing. Hey, thanks to everybody in the military. Well, technically, Memorial Day is a little bit more specific. Okay, correct them, tell them what it is. But man, people are good, and we all really, really appreciate all of you that have served. But this one, I'm just trying to save a couple people out there. This one is very, very specific. It's okay. And here's me, never served. It is okay to go get a mattress. It is okay to drink some beers and to look forward to that extra day off. There's nothing wrong with that.
No.
Okay. As long as we all realize why we have that extra day off. If you don't have military in your blood and in your family, then you know what? Take a movie, a suggestion, like I said, in that Taking Chance movie. I'll tell you what, you'll learn a lot. It really is an incredible movie. I couldn't offer up a better movie for you guys to watch this weekend. But ultimately, everybody's just really respectful of the military. There are three differences. There's a difference between Veterans Day and a difference between Memorial Day. This is the somber one, and this is for people that made the ultimate sacrifice. And we can never, ever thank you enough. So I've seen some military guys go off on people before, and I just like, hey, listen, I hate to overstep my bounds here, but that person's trying to be a good person. They just kind of got the message mixed up a little bit.
It always like, how it is, man. You're on the radio, so you're a little more careful than most when you go to put something on social media. Like, and I've done it before where I've like, nah, and I just won't. The best thing you can do is just not do anything a lot of times, right?
Correct, but then I don't want to do that either.
I don't want to. So
I'm helping people to try to get it right, to make sure the three. There's three big ones, and again, let me say it. You're honoring these people. And if you listen to the show here in Houston, man, we talk about the military all year round. When you get a shine on your day, and when it's the Marine Corps birthday and the guys start calling me 30 days out, giving me a countdown, believe me, I know when the Marine Corps birthday is.
Right.
And we say happy birthday to you and thank you on that day. But we thank you every day of the year, for doing the job that you've done.
Can you, but you can't, can you say Happy Memorial Day? Because that's not right, technically. It's a weird way. But you see it.
You're never going to make everybody happy, But I will tell people leaving the radio on Friday, guys, everybody have a great Memorial Day weekend.
There you go.
I'll say it. I'll say it in as many words. I'll get an email about it. And I also will get an email about a guy that doesn't appreciate the fact that my chopper, my motorcycle, is painted red, white, and blue. You're not supposed to do that to the flag. Incorrect. I'm not I'm not using the flag in a poor way. I've incorporated the flag into the paint scheme of my motorcycle. But there are some guys that are really, really sticklers for this stuff, you know, and there's always going to be somebody that's a little bit more hardcore. Ultimately, I love every one of you. I really, really do, man. I was too much of a pussy to serve. It's a regret of mine. I wish I would have. I don't know if the trajectory would have been the same if I would have taken that time off. But I look back now, and there was a time in my life when I was young, because I hung around older kids. When I was in 9th grade, I was all but signed up for the Air Force. I was going because the guys that I hung out with were going into the Air Force, you know? And then it just, my life didn't go in that direction. But it's something that, you know, I would be so proud if I had served, you know, and I look up to every single one of you that has. So we get the differences. And then I'm just kind of helping other people to stay away. Make sure that you know the differences.
I've been around the military a lot. My brother served in the Marines. One of my best friends was a drill instructor twice. He retired a few years ago. So I got to be around him and a lot of his buddies. He was actually stationed in New Orleans for a couple of years as he finished everything up. And I got to be around these guys outside of their day-to-day at the base. They were just hanging out, having a beer at my house, or we'd be out having a beer and stuff. And it was always great to hear these guys let their guard down and have beers and talk shop. You know, they don't really give you a whole lot of details on their stories. I don't know if you've ever hung out with military dudes. They don't really get into the weeds of where they've been or what they've done. They kind of really gloss over all that stuff.
Well, they're going to give you the Sports Center edition when they're around just them and no outsiders and the band of brothers is together. Then it's no holds barred. Everything is being talked about. Okay, wait, we got a guy here. We might hold back a few things because you and I are in the circle now. Well, we're not going to get everything.
But just to be around, and I was at the base quite a bit visiting, and I went through it, and just the respect, man. It just, again, never served. I never had a desire to serve, man. It was not for me. I had friends who did it. And it's just the respect I have, though, is unbelievable. Just to see that uniform is just, damn, that's a badass, man. At the end of the day, you've put your life into a different situation altogether so that guys like me and everyone else who never served gets to do what they want to do. So that sacrifice is very, very much appreciated, man, for sure.
The most fun is when guys get together. We were doing a truck pull, and we had all the different branches, and we included the Coast Guard. They were so happy to be included. I'm like, of course, man. We've got a huge Coast Guard base here in Galveston. Mm-hmm. So we had 5 branches, and they were all competing like Monster Jam. They were pulling a Monster Jam truck. And when the Army and the Marines, and now think about this, dude, I got teams of 10. Okay. So I've got the Devil Dog Jarheads over here. I got the Air Force. Well, then I got the Marines calling them the Chair Force. And then I've got the Army guys over here. And then they're talking about their IQ. And then the Marines, then the Navy over here. And the Navy saying, you work for me. You know, it's awesome. It is so much fun. No one else is allowed in on that. They can make fun of one another. And you got to sit there and you can't say shit, because you're not in. No. If you're in one of the 5, have at it, get in that Royal Rumble, get in. And it was all fun and games. Okay. They're all cutting up because they all have that common bond, but they love the branch that they went into. There is nothing better. That was the most fun. It's 50 guys and gals, 10 each from each branch. And these guys, nobody shut up the whole time. They were just cracking on one another. It was the most fun thing ever. I wish there was a camera rolling. The only time we rolled cameras was during the truck pull itself. The real show was the practice. The real show was lining up beforehand. They did not stop. It was the most fun I've ever been around the military in my life.
Yeah. And then I've had friends who've helped me do things along the road. We've built shit and they're like, no, dumbass, do it like this. You know, that's a great thing about the military. Those are some great leaders. You got guys that they get into they get out of the military, they go into the real world. Those dudes get shit done. They'll get shit done. It's very, very cool.
So I'll say it on this podcast, guys. If you're checking this out before Memorial Day weekend, man, have a great Memorial Day weekend. And we appreciate those that made the ultimate sacrifice and the families that had to deal with that. It's just, I can't even imagine. Thank you guys for checking this out. It's unbelievable. If you're checking this out on YouTube, great. Make sure you go and hit those podcasts. Hit us up on either iHeart or Apple or wherever it is you're checking out this podcast. We got to get those subscriptions up. We got to get those hits on that too. But if you're just watching this on YouTube, I love every one of you too.
Yeah, make sure you tell your friends. I mean, tell your buddy, hey, I was listening the other day. Look, not every radio show is as good as what Rod does in Houston. You know what I mean? So yeah, listen to your favorite radio show, but then punch up the podcast because we're just going to keep chewing the fat every week, man. And I've got a lot of great feedback from people who've listened. Dude, I checked out your podcast. I had no idea. You guys are pretty good. I'm like, we are? I go, it's just us talking. I go, really? The only thought we do, we don't
listen to ours?
Hardly. You sure you got this right? The planning we do is literally just, it's gotten to the point where it's like one email. I send some shit to you. You send some shit to me. What do you think? Let's put it in this order. Okay. And then we talk before we start. Okay. Let's put it in this order. Okay. Let's go. That's it. And then we just go. That's
how the sausage is made.
Yeah.
Send us your top 5 if you've got some ideas for some future top 5s that we can. And then when we do a top 5 like today, best war movies, dude, Top Gun. It's not a war movie. It's a military movie though.
But
Top Gun.
But the top 5 list, and this is what I love about the top 5 list. Okay.
Because they never end. Okay. I can't fall asleep after we record this dumb thing because I'm like, damn it, I missed that. Right now, Top Gun. I'm going to lay down. I'm like, damn it, that's a good one.
Oh no, I don't sleep. After I do this, I go back and I start getting down these wormholes. Like with the Chris Cornell from last week, dude, I spent 3 days just going through all that stuff. But what's great about the top 5 lists is we all get to learn from each other. That's why I love it. I've been reintroduced to so many bands and so many movies and so many different things by doing this podcast, the top 5 lists. Okay. I know what I like. Then you tell me something. I'm like, oh shit, you're right. I got to check that out. Then somebody will post on social media. What about this? Oh crap. I forgot about that. So I'm getting to rediscover all this music right now. And it's like this whole, I don't want to say renaissance, but it's a rediscovery, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. And it is awesome because I'm listening to songs I haven't listened to in years. Like after this is over, you're going to go punch up Stairway to Heaven.
Yeah, I'm going to rock out.
It's good.
Maybe tomorrow. I need to go to bed. It's getting late.
It is getting late. All right. Well, that's enough of this shit. I'm done with this, man. We got stuff. I already got some ideas for next week, Rod. It's going to be a great podcast next week. Episode 10. Do we celebrate anything for 10 episodes next week?
If we want to embarrass ourselves, yes, let's do it.
I might have. I'll have cake. And you can shit in a box. How about that? That's what we'll celebrate.
I think that's where everybody went. Click.
There's nobody here right now, man. I'm gonna pet my dog. All right.
If you're still here, guys, thank you so much, man.
Let's go. It's time. Put on play pants.
Find us wherever you listen to podcasts. See us on our YouTube channel and follow our social media pages at PlayPantsPod.